What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. In last video, I talked about how the Red Sox had already won the series against the Detroit Tigers. Well, last night they decided to go for the clean sweep after kind of decimating them in the last game of the series. But the big story in this series were the young guys, whether it was people making debuts, other people coming in and filling in a role, or other people kind of finding themselves in this lineup. It was all the young guys in this series, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about everything that happened in the Detroit Tigers series with the young people and the old people, and we're going to talk about why it's so important that these young guys are showing up when they're showing up. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on these videos. It helps it out a ton and would mean a lot to me. And if you want to help out this channel a lot, do me a favor and share this video with a friend or a family member that loves the Red Sox as much as you do. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about the offense first because there's just simply more storylines there, and we're going to start with Trevor's story. See what I did there?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Obviously not a young guy, but is still new to the team, and he had a great series. He had a hit in almost every single game. He had a 3-run home run in this series, a 3-run Johnson, if you will, if you're Dennis Eckersley. Hopefully this is the story we get all year, right? We don't need 20 home runs a week, right? We just need 1 or 2 games where he has a couple RBIs and a couple games where he's on base, because that'll go a long way with the rest of this Red Sox offense. Hopefully that's what we get for the rest of the year, and he's kind of evening out, right? We've seen the peaks, we've seen the valleys. Hopefully he's now somewhere in the middle. Our first young guy, I still want to call him a rookie. I still consider him a rookie a little bit. Jaron Duranda, we're going to talk about because he had a great series. He had a hit in every single game. He had a RBI double in one of these games. His first RBIs of the year came off of that. And in 10 games this year for the Red Sox, the 10 games that he's played in, he's had 8 runs. That is 8 runs produced in 10 games. That's a pretty good offensive production number for Jaron Duranda. And it is going to be super interesting when Kike and Arroyo come back, how they end up managing this roster, because right now Jaron Duranda is making such a good case to stay on this team, and Alex Cora loves what he brings to the table. He loves the versatility that Jaron Duranda has, the ability to have that speed, to be able to get on base with that good eye combined with the bunting. He's got all right defense, but all of those offensive versatility options are huge for the Red Sox, so it's going to be interesting. And speaking of Kike and Arroyo, we got to talk about Ref Snyder too, who I for some reason still think is a rookie. He's been in the league for 7 years, kind of a journeyman, if you will, on a bunch of different teams, but for some reason in my head he's still a rookie. He's clearly not, but either way, he had a big game when he was in for the 3rd game of this series. He had his first home run of the year, which was a 2-run wall scraper, quite literally, and that's something that Ref Snyder really doesn't do too often, so it's really cool to see. And like Jaron Duranda, in his time up with the big league club, he is hitting .407, another guy who's making an extremely hard case to stay on this Red Sox team as at least a bench bat, and I honestly can't argue with it right now. I don't know about you guys, but which one would you prefer, Duranda or Ref Snyder on this team right now when Arroyo and Kike come back? Outside of those two though, Christian Vasquez had another great series. He had a home run in this one as well, and it kind of sucks that he's not getting the all-star recognition he deserves because he's having a fantastic year at the plate. Obviously there are catchers who are doing better and they do deserve the first spot, but he should at least be in the mix. He's not, and he is still, in my opinion, one of the most undervalued players on this team. Outside of that though, you had Doogie roping a single down the line for 2 runs in this series. You had Devers with an RBI double. JD had a couple of doubles. Xander Bogaerts had a couple of hits. And I do want one thing about Xander Bogaerts, not really related to offense, that I do want to say, he was supposed to have a scheduled off day yesterday in the series finale, but begged Alex Cora to be in this lineup so he could be there for Jeter Downs' debut. And if that isn't the most captain thing in the entire world, I don't know what is. This dude deserves to be an all-star, he deserves to get paid, and he deserves to be a Red Sox for life. So we should make all 3 of those things happen. Pretty simple. The big news with the offense that I want to talk about is that obviously the big 3 were not in this highlight reel, which not exactly something you want to see all the time, but it is encouraging to see because that means that the other parts of this lineup are producing, and that is exactly what the Red Sox need to do if they want to put together the season that we know they can have and that they know they can have. We've talked about it 100 times on this channel, and I will probably talk about it 100 more. For the Red Sox to be a great team in this league, all 9 people need to contribute, and that's what we've been seeing in in the last couple of series, and I'm hoping that's the trend that's going to continue for the rest of the year. I'm very excited and encouraged about this offense right now. The one last thing I want to talk about before we get into the pitching side of things is that Jeter Downs had his major league debut in the last game of this series. He had a couple of great plays at third base, but unfortunately did not do very well at the plate. Still a huge moment for Jeter Downs. Congratulations. That's got to be the best day of your life. I can only imagine what that must feel like. Anyways, let's talk about the pitching in this series. We had some really great pitching performances in this series, and we're going to start once again with the rookie Josh Winkowski because he got the ball in game 1. He was absolutely fantastic. He went 6 2/3 innings, giving up 2 and striking out 2, and it might be his best appearance of the year. It was definitely his longest, which is exactly what we need right now. Take a little pressure off the bullpen, give the bullpen a little bit of rest. It's perfect, and Josh Winkowski might be the most important call-up we've had so far this year. Jaron Duranda and Ref Snyder are doing fantastic, don't get me wrong, but for Winkowski to come in here, especially after kind of a sloppy first major league debut, to come in here after losing Whitlock and Eovaldi, 2 of our best starters, and fill that role really well and give the Red Sox a consistent chance to win games is really big for this club. So shout out Winkowski, you've been doing fantastic. We talked about this in the live stream, and I wouldn't be opposed to Josh Winkowski staying on this team after Whitlock and Eovaldi get back as a bullpen arm to piggyback Hill and eventually piggyback Sale as well, because Sale is probably not going to be going the 6, 7, 8 innings that we're used to with Sale because they're trying to nurse him back into this because of his injury. So I can see that type of role for Winkowski in the future. Let me know what you think of Winkowski in this rotation. After the rookie went though, we got the grizzled vets, the literal opposite of rookies. You had Rich Hill start game 2. He went 5, gave up 3, struck out 6, and that's a solid performance. That's exactly what you want from Rich Hill. You want a guy who can go out there and eat innings as well as give the Red Sox a chance to win, and that's exactly what he's been doing lately. So nothing really else to say. It was a solid outing. Waka, who finished off this series, had another fantastic outing. He went 6 innings, allowed only 2 runs, and struck out 7, and that's a crazy good stat line for Waka. And to be honest with you, a lot of these earned runs from all of these pitchers were just from Javi Baez. He, for some reason, absolutely kills the Red Sox. I think he's hitting over 500 against us, which is insane this year, so earned run totals would be much lower if Javi Baez didn't hate the Red Sox for some reason. But either way, Waka is slowly becoming my favorite pitcher on this Red Sox team. Pivetta still holds that #1 spot because of his energy, but Waka's doing a fantastic job. He has to be one of, if not the best pickups for Chaim Bloom this offseason, and it's to the point now where I'm genuinely excited when Waka's on that starting mound. It's almost much must-see TV at this point, so everything Michael Waka's doing is perfect. And the good news with this Red Sox team is that the offense has started to get going, and the starting pitching has remained the same. That was everyone's biggest fear when the starting pitching got off to such a hot start, was that when the Red Sox offense got going, the starting pitching would have a meltdown, and that hasn't happened yet. It could still happen, obviously, but the fact that it hasn't is a very encouraging sign. But the real star of the show in this series was the bullpen, because the bullpen in 3 games only allowed 1 singular run, and I know it's obviously against a historically bad Tigers offense, so was it the biggest feat in the world? Probably not, but if I'm in the Red Sox bullpen right now, I don't care who we're facing. To give up only 1 singular run, and I think it was a combined 3 hits in 3 games, is insane, regardless of the team that you're playing. This is a huge confidence boost for this bullpen that desperately needs it going into a July where they're going to be relied upon heavily, and they're going to have to show up really big. So to start off this sort of gauntlet run with a sweep and with only allowing 1 singular run in 3 games is huge for this bullpen. Unfortunately, I have to shout out Sawamura, which I never, ever thought I was going to do on this channel. And obviously it's not unfortunate because you want him to do well, but this is a guy that I have been all over this entire year about how I don't think he's very good in this bullpen. But he ended up going 2 scoreless innings to finish off the game last night, and he looked really good on the mound, so I have to give credit where credit's due. All in all, like I said, the bullpen being such a big part of these wins lately is exactly what we've been wanting all year. Yes, they gave up a bunch of runs in the 9th inning in that Cardinals game, but they still managed to close the game out and get these W's. They only allowed 1 run in the entirety of this Detroit Tigers series. Now they go on to face Cleveland and Toronto, who are known for their offense. So this will be an interesting test. It'll be a heat check for the bullpen that's been doing pretty well lately. But either way, every single thing that is going right for the Red Sox right now is encouraging. It's not that they're just getting dumb lucky. It's not that they're just running into baseballs accidentally. These guys have truly, in my opinion, put together all the parts of the team that needed to be put together to put a legitimate run up for this season. The offense offense is firing on all cylinders. All 9 guys, which is exactly what we've been wanting. The pitching staff has, especially starting pitching, has remained about the same. The bullpen, the people are starting to figure out their roles, and we're starting to get to see these sort of guys excel in the roles that have been planned out for them, which is exactly what we've been wanting all season. It's just roles in the bullpen, because it's going to help the bullpen tremendously. And more importantly, when guys go down, we have the depth to fill those positions now. This is a good problem to have. It's annoying that these guys are performing so well and we're still talking about sending them down or DFAing or whatever they need to do to get them off this team, but it's a good problem at the end of the day, right? The fact that a guy can go down like Kike Hernandez, who's pretty much a staple on this Red Sox team, and we have someone to bring in and do better statistically than he did. You've got guys like Arroyo, who, yes, he has not had great defensive numbers this year. Yes, he's not great offensively, but that's an entirely different conversation. Either way, he's an important part of this team, and you've got guys that you can bring up to fill that role, and it is very, very impressive to see. I love what the rookies are doing this year, and I think it's going to be important going down the stretch when we're fighting for that playoff spot. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of these young guys on the team right now. Let me know what you think of the Red Sox in general, and let me know all your thoughts on this team down below. As always, if you've made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You made it to the end of this video, you clearly enjoy the content, you might as well hit subscribe. Also, make sure you've hit the like button on this video. Pretty much the same logic. If you made it to the end, you clearly like it, you might as well hit the like button. And if you enjoy this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys share this one with a friend or a family member, someone who loves the Red Sox as much as you do, because there's a good chance they're going to enjoy it too. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.